Hello everyone, welcome back again. So in this video we are continuing our Shakespeare. So in the very first part of William Shakespeare I have told you about the biography as well as the key facts. If you haven't checked out that video, please go and watch it. So in the second part of Shakespeare I am going to discuss about the Shakespeare's literary life. So let's begin. Shakespeare's literary life has been divided into four literary period, right? So the very first literary period of Shakespeare and the time span of that period was 1585 to 1594. Let's see the very first point. In the very first literary period, Shakespeare wrote 26 sonnets and 7 plays. So the first literary period contained 26 sonnets of William Shakespeare as well as the 7 plays. As you know very well that Shakespeare had written 154 sonnets and 37 plays. Second key fact or the important thing about this period is that Reuben Post Halleck, right? Do remember the name that Reuben Post Halleck commented, or we can say that he states that this was a period of showing the exuberance of youthful love and imagination. So, Reuben Post Halleck regarded the first literary period of Shakespeare as that it shows the exuberance of youthful love and imagination. So, do remember that point. This point is also very important. Next, moving to the third point, the major write-up of this period was right in the means to say that in the first literary period, what are the major write-ups? So the very first one is Henry VI, part first, second, and third. Both the three part of Henry VI has been written on the first literary period. Second one was Richard III, then Titus Andronicus, fourth Comedy of Errors, fifth Taming of the Shrew, sixth Venus and Adonis, seventh Rape of the Lucrece. The most important thing is that Venus and Adonis and Rape of the Lucrece are Shakespeare's poems, right? Moving to the next literary period of William Shakespeare, let's see. And the time span of this second literary period was 1594 to 1600, right? So the very first point of this period was that it shows progress in Shakespeare's dramatic art. Means by the second literary period, Shakespeare became quite good, or we can say excellent in writing dramas, right? So this question may be asked like this: which literary period of Shakespeare makes his dramas very good? Means his dramatic art get improving. So the period was second literary period, right? Next point is it is attributed his history plays and joyous comedies. So the second literary period revolves around the history plays as well as the joyous comedy. So he had written historical plays as well as the comedies in the second literary period. So there some historical plays has been given here. So the first one is Richard II, second Henry IV, part first and second, third Henry V, right? And there are some comedies. So the first comedy was Midsummer Night Dream, The Merchant of Venice, Much Ado About Nothing. Fourth one is As You Like It, and the last one is Twelfth Night, right? Moving to the next literary period, the third literary period, and the time span of the third literary period was 1601 to 1608. So important facts about the third literary period are: in the third literary period, Shakespeare mostly wrote tragedies or romances with tragic resonance, right? So most of the tragedies as well as the romances has been written in the third literary period, and the time span was 1601 to 1608. Next important, very important point of the third literary period was that its famous tragedies, Shakespeare's most famous tragedies were written in this phase. So what are his famous tragedies? First one is Hamlet, second one is Othello, third King Lear, fourth Macbeth, fifth one is Antony and Cleopatra. So these are the very famous tragedies written by William Shakespeare in the third literary period of his writing, right? Next one is his bitter comedies. There are some comedies has been written, but it is called bitter because it has very essential melancholic elements, right? Gloominess is there, or we can say the bitterness of comedy, right? So the first one is all's well that ends well, second measure for measure, right? So there was some we can say there is some reason that why the third literary period become very much gloomy and dark to William Shakespeare. So the answer is in the last line of third literary period, that the darkness, here it is written, the darkness, bitterness, sadness that characterize in this period influenced by his own life, right? In this last line, please do see the darkness, bitterness, sadness that characterize in this period influenced by his own life, such as father's death in 1601, execution of Earl of Essex by Elizabeth. So in his personal life, he was not very stable, he was not sound, that has been reflected in his plays, right? So we can call the third literary period of Shakespeare was uh, regarded as very gloomy and bitterness, and also had the elements of sadness because of his own personal disturbed personal life, right? Moving to the fourth literary period of William Shakespeare. So the time span of fourth literary period was 1608 to 1613, right? So the fourth period belongs to the late years of his life, right? Means the late years of his life. What are the writings of his late years? So at the late years of his life, he had written three plays. What are the three plays? Or we can, or the question may be asked like this: that in the late years of his life, what are the plays that consist? So the answer will be Winter's Tale, Cymbeline and the Tempest. So Winter's Tale, Cymbeline and the Tempest belong to the late years of his life, and the time span was 1608 to 1613, right? Next point is plays of this period are characterized by a grave cynicism and resignation, right? This period is also not very much cheerful or very much joyful to Shakespeare. It also characterized by very seriousness, grave cynicism, and a kind of resignation, a kind of feeling of left out, right? The last point is it also includes works in collaboration such as Henry VIII and the Two Noble Kinsmen with John Fletcher. So the last point is also very important from examination point of view, that it may be asked that what name the plays Shakespeare has written with the collaboration with John Fletcher. So the plays are Henry VIII and the Two Noble Kinsmen. So these are the two plays which he had written in collaboration with John Fletcher, right? So that's all for today. I have just given you all an overview of the Shakespeare's literary life, that it has been divided into four literary period, and I have given you the time span as well as the important work which fall under the first, second, third and fourth literary period. Though I haven't explained so much about this no, because the video get very much longer, so the explanation will be given in the further part of William Shakespeare. So please be stay tuned. If you like this video, if you found it worthy, do like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much.